So I'm live on Instagram as well. So good morning everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining me on the planet. My name is June Allen and I am the founder of The Art of Greatness at juneallen.net. So I am a therapist and today I am talking about should you join my Sacred Sister study circle? Okay, should you join my Sacred Sister study circle? Hi, thanks for joining. So, over the last week or so, I've been doing a series of live streams about what the study circle is about, the books that were offered as a selection. So today, I'm obviously going to I just wanted to open the floor really and just answer loads of questions about what it's about, all of that kind of stuff. Hi, thanks for joining. So, yeah, so the basically it starts tonight. Okay, it starts tonight at 8 p.m. London time. And I'm just going to go through the questions and then I'm going to answer them. Hi, Lydia. Thanks for joining. So, the first question is it a book club? Okay, people sometimes refer it as a book club. I've even referred it as a book to as a book club in the past, but actually, it's not a book club. Okay, it's not a book club, and the reason why I say it's not a book club is because book clubs normally people normally go away and read the book and then they come back and have a discussion about it, have a cup of tea, and that's it. Okay, that's not what we do in this session. What we do in this session is more like group therapy. Okay, it's more like group therapy, and we have a text that kind of anchors the discussion. So it anchors the themes of what we're going to be talking about. Okay, so what normally happens in the sessions are we read the book live. Okay, you don't have to go away and read the book first and come back. We actually read the book live, and we only read we only read a small portion of the book. Maybe we read for 10, 15 minutes depending on how long the chapter is there any exercises that need to be done or anything like that. And so those things are all going to be done as a group within the actual session itself. So it's not a book club. That's why I call it a study circle. So the book that we're actually going to be using to anchor the discussions are, if you don't know already, is The Black Woman Millionaire. So if you want to have a better relationship with money, if you want to understand more about what money trauma is, more about what financial therapy is, if you're an entrepreneur and you want to understand more about the psychology of money, if you maybe you work for a corporate company but you want to start a side hustle, you want to understand a bit more about how to get your confidence up as well, and start a side hustle, then this study circle is going to be for you. Okay, maybe you just want to get more of an understanding as to what it means to not just to run a business, but also to understand your personal relationship with money. You know, I'll be sharing a lot of my own story, as I always do. I'll be sharing tools and stuff like that. If there are any entrepreneurs, I'm more than happy to share tools and my own experience as a black female entrepreneur, and what that means, and how you know, understanding my relationship with money has helped me grow both as a business owner and as a black woman. And yeah, just understanding as well the history and all of that kind of stuff that goes with it. That stuff is really important. If you listen to my live stream that I spoke about yesterday, I talked a lot yesterday about what is money trauma, and how financial therapy, what it is and how it can actually help. So we'll be expanding on all of those types of conversations as we go along. You know, so really it's probably going to take us, you know, it's quite a the book itself, I mean, it is quite a big book, but as I just flicking through it, there are lots of exercises to do. There's lots of journal prompts and all of that kind of stuff. So really, if you're interested in doing this book in the study circle, you're probably going to be doing, I would say, you know, it's going to be a year. I'm going to say it's going to be a good 9 months to a year for us to work through this book. Okay, because going through the book and everything really, really gently, giving ourselves time to actually work through it properly is really, really important. I'm a firm believer in, yes, you know, reading books is great, but you know, be honest, how many of you actually do the actions? How many of you do the actual exercises? How many of you actually do the journal prompt? All that stuff what they tell you to do in these books, in these self-help books, a lot of us don't do them. Let's be honest. A lot of us don't do it. So this is the reason why it's more going to be like group therapy, and a study circle rather than just a book club. Okay, we're not just going to critique the book and all the rest of it. We are actually going to dig deep, and I'll be sharing my own therapeutic feedback. We'll have a discussion as a group, so you'll have the opportunity to identify with all the other ladies and all of that kind of stuff. So it's really going to be a powerful experience. Okay, so if you're interested in joining us for the study circle, it starts tonight. You can click the link in my bio, go to heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. Just to reassure you as well, although this session actually starts tonight, 8 p.m. London time, we're not actually going to start reading the book until next week. What I'm going to be doing tonight is it's going to be more like a welcome session, and we're going to be talking more about how, you're understanding your nervous system, and the anxiety around money, how to basically manage your emotions around money, because ultimately that's what it's about. How what we experience, all the stuff that I talked about yesterday about money trauma and all of that kind of stuff. We have to be able to understand our nervous system. We have to build a better relationship with our nervous system, okay, in order to have a better relationship with money. So what I'm going to be talking about tonight is I'm going to be obviously talking about how the structure of the sessions are going to go. But inside that, I'm going to do like a really short presentation on understanding how to manage our nervous system around money. Because if we have a better relationship with our nervous system, then we're going to be able to tolerate the things that the stuff that we that comes up for us around money. If we get anxious, if we get panic attacks, if we go into shutdown, if we want to disassociate, all of those things that are related to money trauma, I'm gonna support you in learning how to manage those emotions, how to deal with those things, so that you can actually do the practical things that you can do. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be doing tonight. So you just need to show up tonight, and we'll do that this evening. That bit is going to be recorded, so that anybody new that comes in after tonight will still have that piece of the recording. All right. So yeah. So don't worry if you haven't got the book or anything for tonight. You can still join, and obviously I'm going to teach what I'm going to teach this evening. So that's answering that question about is it a book club, done that one? What book are you reading? I've already shared that. Are the sessions recorded? Now, as a general rule, the sessions are not going to be recorded. Okay. And the reason the sessions are not recorded is because of confidentiality reasons. I need the people in the group. I need you to understand that what you say in the group, okay, it's not going to go outside of the group. There's very strict boundaries around not discussing with other people or whatever outside of the group, because people need to, if there's no confidentiality, if people don't feel safe to talk in the group, then people are not going to get, they're not going to get the financial therapy. You're not going to get what you need to get out of the group, out of the sessions. So having those boundaries about not recording, and not discussing stuff with other people outside of the group, what people said and all of that kind of stuff, is an important boundary that we have in the group. Okay, so then that means that people can start to build trust. They can start to build a really firm relationship with each other in the group, and it just means that the work that we do there, it then becomes sacred. It is so, when I've seen this happen before with other books that we've done, it just becomes so beautiful just to watch the trust beginning to form in the group, and people beginning to allow themselves to get vulnerable and allowing themselves to share things that they've never shared before. And like I was saying yesterday, people find it very, very difficult to talk about money because there's so much emotion attached to it. There's so much shame attached to money. And so it's important that the space is very sacred for people to be able to talk about what they need to talk about. Okay, so the sessions are not going to be recorded. All right. So let's see. What's the next question? So next question. Okay, so how much is it? So at the moment, I've got an offer on at the moment, which is part of Black History Month, where I'm doing. You can get 60 days, 2 months for £97. Okay, after that, it's £97 a month. Okay, so if you're in a situation at the moment where you've got issues around money, issues around just the money stuff that I've talked about yesterday, and you want a better relationship with abundance, then come into the session. Okay, come into the session. It's much cheaper than doing obviously one-to-one therapy if you've got money issues and you wanted to go to your therapist to talk about stuff like that. It's a lot cheaper than, it's a lot more affordable doing it in group therapy. Okay, so if you click the link in my bio, there's all the details and stuff are there. You just sign up, make the one payment, the 97, and then you get a PDF that you download, and it's got all the instructions about how you can go to the membership site and get all your login details. Okay, so all of the information is there. Okay, so next question. So why is it only for black women? Now, the reason it's only for black women is because the subject matter that we're talking about is very, very specific to the black woman experience. Okay, the book is is written by a black woman millionaire, and so she talks about it within the context of our ancestors being enslaved. Talked about racism and all the rest of it, and yes, other people of color also experience racism, but the material that's going to be read and the stuff that I'm going to be sharing in terms of resources and my experience and all of that kind of stuff is very, very specific to the black female experience. So that identification, that understanding, that context within the healing process, as it relates to financial therapy, is all going to be within that context. So that's the reason why. And it just means that, because sometimes what can happen is women can come into the space with something that they think that nobody else is experienced. And I've seen it happen so many times. One person will say something and other people will start saying, "Oh my gosh, I thought I was the only one." I really identify with that. It was really helpful hearing you say that, or whatever. And so then what happens is it creates an environment where people start to feel safe. They start to feel seen and they start to feel heard because the experiences are so similar, and they can begin to identify with each other, and that helps to build relationship, that helps to build sisterhood. Whereas if it was more of an open group, sometimes the experiences can get a little bit diluted. And so yeah, so I am really clear about working directly with black women on this occasion. However, that's not to say, if you wanted to work with me one on one to do some work around financial recovery and that stuff, then obviously I'm more than open to doing that. Again, if you click the link in my bio, go to heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. You'll find information there with how you can work with me one on one. Okay, so the next question is group therapy for me. Okay, is group therapy for me? Now, this is a huge one because so many times I hear people saying, I don't really feel comfortable being in a group. I don't really trust other black women. I don't really want to work with other black women. I don't really want to get vulnerable in a group and all the rest of it. And they're not sure if that really is going to work for them. And I always laugh. I always end up laughing with people that say that 6 months down the road, when they've been in the group, they've managed to deal with their fears or whatever, and they end up going, do you know what, actually it's all right. And the reason why that happens is because I'm very open about having that conversation in the group and with the person directly. And quite often that stuff is historical. That stuff is historical. A lot of times, the women that I work with come into the group, they've got mother wound issues. They've got situations where they've been in abusive situations with family members, whether it's the parents, or whatever it is. They've got family members, or that their growing up was not safe. Their environment growing up was not safe around other black women. Maybe they were bullied by other black women in school or whatever. And so because of colorism and stuff as well, that comes up quite a lot. So it creates a really difficult situation where a lot of black women find it hard to do group work because of that. Okay. And they find it really, really painful. Now, because I actually have the conversation openly and put it out on the table to be explored, then that kind of tends to dissipate a lot of the anxiety around that. And then when they come into the group and see the boundaries that I put in place, so people get a chance to speak, and they see how I operate, and how the group is actually held, it then helps to build trust. And over time, sisters then start to feel more confident and comfortable in sharing what's going on for them. And, it becomes a safer space for people to be able to have honest conversations. So then it becomes less of an issue. So this is one of the reasons why I just done the offer just for 60 days, just to give you the opportunity to try it. And obviously, if you don't, if it doesn't work for you after the 2 months, You don't have to carry on. So yeah, it's really important for that, because I know that it's a huge issue for people. Hi, thanks for joining. It's a huge issue for people to be able to understand that they can come to the session and feel safe, and that if their anxiety around other black women is talked about, in a really compassionate and safe way, so that they can begin to unpack what that's about. And once I begin to share as well, like what the history of it is, and how, why is it the reason why so many black women feel like that in healing with other black women, they start to understand themselves, and the group. It just makes it, it makes it easier, because then they feel safe to be able to have the conversation about what's going on for them, and then it becomes funny after a while, because it's like once they start to feel more comfortable or whatever, they then start to understand, okay, I understand why I felt like that now, but actually I feel more calm and I feel more relaxed, and it feels okay. It feels okay. All right. So if you're worrying that about group therapies for you, and you're anxious because of that reason, then just try it and just see what happens. Okay. So the next thing, will I need to read the book first? No, you don't need to read the book first, because like I was saying earlier, an important part of the session is that we read the book live. There's something quite beautiful that happens when we sit in the actual session itself and actually read the words. We take it in turns to read a few paragraphs each. Sometimes, if the women haven't got the book, they've even said, actually, it's quite nice it's quite comforting just to sit and allow other people to actually read the book to them. So that becomes a part of the sisterhood bonding process, that we read to each other, and then whatever comes up in that particular part of the reading, in the sharing time, everybody's sharing on the same thing, and we all keep the same pace. Okay, so no one's more ahead, no one's behind. We're all reading at the same pace, and so that works really, really well. That works really, really well. Okay, so the final question is, what happens in the sessions? Okay, so what happens in the sessions itself? Right, so some of the things that happens in the session is we do meditation. Okay, what I like to do initially, in the beginning of the session, is to do it, to ground everybody. Okay, to make sure everyone is present inside the space. Whether you might be running around or whatever before the session, or maybe you're putting children to bed, or maybe you were, whatever it is, maybe you've not long got home from work and you've had to eat, or you're doing housework, or whatever it is. The meditation that we do in the beginning just helps to combine the group, get focused on why we're here, and to get everybody grounded and nice and settled and nice and calm. Because the calmer you are in the session, the more likely you are to be able to understand what's going on, and to get present to what's going on inside of you, inside your body. And you're more open to listening, and you're more open to gaining whatever knowledge and support that you need to get from the session. So the meditation and stuff is a really important part of the process. Okay, there's a sharing space. Okay, which means that however much we've read of the book, whatever comes up for you, you have a chance to share. So you can share specifically, directly, what's going on for you in relationship to the book, or maybe something's happened to you around money, or finance, or work, or whatever it is, that you can also share about that stuff, so you can get current. Maybe there's something going on at work for you that is really painful, and you're not sure how to deal with it. Maybe you had to talk to your bank manager this week, or whatever. We keep the focus around money, um, but there is an open space to be able to share directly from the book, or you can get current. So there is that as well, which is really important. Okay, obviously, like I said before, obviously we spend time doing the reading live. There's also psychoeducation, which is also really, really important, because what I want to do is to be able to give you resources to be able to understand what money trauma looks like. Obviously, the live stream that I did yesterday is going to give you a bit of an understanding around that. So what does money trauma look like? How does it show up? Okay, so then you can identify, okay, I do, 5, 6, and 7, so maybe I have got some money trauma going on. So you start to understand what that means for you personally. Okay, so there's psychoeducation around that. There's also psychoeducation around what financial therapy is. What does financial therapy mean? What does it look like? What are the what's the process and all of that kind of stuff. And also, what does it mean? What does healthy financial therapy look like? So, not only are you understanding what it looks like in terms of, the money trauma behaviors and all that kind of stuff, but what does healthy behavior look like as well? How do I know when I am practicing the rituals? How do I know when I'm actually winning around this stuff? So, once you have all those sign points and you've got that psychoeducation in addition to the book and the sharing, there's a lot of knowledge that you're going to learn. There's a lot of things that you're going to begin to understand about yourself, your patterns, your history. Okay, not just the history of how money shows up or how money was dealt with in your family of origin, but also what it means to be a black person and understanding that actually, my body was actually a commodity. My body, my ancestors' bodies on the plantation were used as a commodity to earn money. So, what does that mean for me as a black woman today? How has that money trauma from then, how is that passed down? And how is that showing up in my behavior around money now? These are all things that we'll unpack. This is all part of the psychoeducation. This is all part of, the feedback that I might give as well after the sharing and stuff like that. So you'll get a real understanding of yourself and your environment, your history. And, when you're more aware of these things, then you're in a better position to be able to make better choices. You'll be able to make healthier choices around your money. Okay. So, obviously, the financial therapy bit, the money trauma bit is all really, really important. But then, there's the practical side of money as well. What are the practical things? How do you set up how do you create a spending plan? If you're self-employed, what how do I keep my numbers so that I can, so that I can go to, I can make sure I do my stuff with HMRC and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, I'm not a financial advisor, so, but I can signpost you to people and areas that you can go to in order to find those things. Okay. So what I'm going to be doing is anchoring and helping you to understand and explore all of the psychology of money, the emotions around money, the trauma around money. So once you've got all those things in place, you're going to have a lot more confidence and understanding and awareness to be able to understand why you behave the way you do around money. So then you can start to make different choices. Okay, that's the bit that I find is always missing when people talk about money and stuff like that. People talk about the practicalities about doing this and that, but not a lot of people talk about the psychology of money. Okay, that's why financial therapy is really, really important, and that's what I'm going to be bringing as a therapist to really underpin all of the stuff that she's going to be talking about in the book. And also the other thing is, and this kind of happened when there was another book that we were reading, and the author was talking. I think it was the book was called What Mama Couldn't Tell Us About Love. Okay, and it was a good book. But what we found was coming up was that there was so much trauma in the book. It was really traumatic. And afterwards, I was like, wow, it was a good idea that we were actually reading the book as a collective so that then I could hold the group. Okay, I could hold the group in unpacking what was coming up for them, what was triggering them. Okay, about the trauma that was being talked about in that book. And as a therapist, I was able to hold the group around those conversations. This is the thing about what happens when you're reading a lot of books on your own, because you might just then go into avoidance around wanting to read the book and you might not finish it because it's so triggering and you don't understand what's happening to you when you're being triggered, so you just end up not doing the work or saying that you don't want to do it or whatever. You just end up abandoning the process because you're not being held. When you're reading the book on your own, you're just in your own head. Okay, you're just in your own head, and it's much harder to actually do the work that you need to do. Whereas in a group setting, you're being held. Okay, you're not just in a group setting, you're in a therapeutic group setting. Okay, so I'm going to be there to hold you through the discomfort, to hold you through any shame that might come up around money. Okay, any trauma that you've got going on around money, you're going to be held in the group to be able to have those conversations. Okay, to have those conversations and process what needs to be processed as a group so that we can hold each other through this. Okay, that's what's really important. And again, this is why I'm saying it's not a book club. Okay, it's a study circle. And it's group therapy. That's what it is. Okay, so this is about this. So the psychoeducation bit and the therapeutic bit is really, really important. The other thing that we do is we do affirmations as well. So this is the manifestation bit as well. learning and thinking about how we can begin to manifest more money in a healthier way. So we do affirmations. We're going to use a few of the 12 laws of the universe as well, that talk about different ways of manifesting and all of that. So we'll be having, we'll be doing a little bit of that as well in the sessions. And the final thing, which is really important around the practical side of things, the last week of every month, the last Thursday of every month, okay, will be like a money day. Okay, there'll be like a co-working money day. So that means all of those things that you've been avoiding, that you feel like you don't really want to do, the really icky stuff around money, stuff like doing your numbers, opening all your mail, writing that letter back to HMRC, or or whatever it is, all of those things that are related to you being abundant, that are painful for you to do, we are going to do a co-working money day, okay, on the last Thursday of each month. And that's, that will give you an opportunity to really get the practical stuff done. So it's not going to be, yes, we're going to be talking and processing and doing all that stuff for the rest of the month, but when it comes down to it, there is going to be a time where you need to do the practical stuff. So that means you need to get a spreadsheet out and do your numbers. That means you're going to have to do your spending plan. That means you're going to have to write to different organizations. If you're in debt, you're going to have to write letters to the debt collection agencies and all of these things, so you can start to clean up all of your money. Okay? That stuff is really, really important. So I felt that having a space, at the end of the month, to be able to do that, and also it gives you a break from actually processing and reading, to actually doing the practical stuff. And hopefully, learning about your nervous system, learning about all the tools and the psychoeducation that you're learning throughout the month, okay, and the support that you'll get, it will be much easier for you to actually do the practical stuff on the last Thursday of the month, because that's then going to give you that's really going to give you the confidence, because you're now being held by a group to do your money work, to do your money shadow work. Okay, you're being held by the group to do your money shadow work, so you're going to feel a bit more confident to be able to tackle those things, because you know that you're not doing it alone. And also you're holding yourself accountable. Okay, you're holding yourself accountable. You're not just going to run away. You can't just put Netflix on and do whatever. You're there at the end of the month for 90 minutes with a group of people, doing your the practical things that you need to do. So a combination of all of those things, the money trauma work, the financial therapy work, the psychoeducation, the being held in the space, the reading, okay, the reading to anchor the pace, and the money day at the end of the month, the co-working session, that all living as a holistic package. Come on now, that's gonna be that's fire. That's gonna be pure fire. So if you're in the situation, if you're feeling really shit about your money situation at the moment, and you need some support, if you're an entrepreneur, and you want to really start to understand all of this stuff, and you want my advice, and you want my support around all of these things, join the Sacred Sister Study Circle. Okay, click the link in my bio, go to heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. That's it for today. If you've got any questions about anything that I've shared today, please send me a DM, or you can email me info@yardofgreatness.com. Hopefully I'll see you this evening. If not, maybe I'll see you next week. But whatever, I'm here. If you want to work with me one-to-one, again, you can click the link in my bio. All the details are there. Again, if you know someone that you think might benefit from this, please share it with them, pay it forward, and I will see you next time. I'll be around again. Let me see. I'll be live again probably next. I don't know. I'm probably going to do more live streams for the next couple of weeks or whatever. So I'm not going to say when. I'll just jump on probably Monday or Tuesday. But yeah. So until then, I will see you next time. Have an amazing weekend, and I will speak to you soon. Take care. Bye.